Well, the first game of the quarterfinal is done, and we have now found out who is going to be the first team to be in the semifinal. And that, of course, is the Philadelphia Union as they won 3-1 in this game against Sporting KC. Now, coming into this game, as I said before, I thought this game was going to be tight. I thought this would be one of those games that could be low scoring and that we could potentially head into a penalty kick shootout because there's not really a lot to separate between both of these teams. What I didn't expect is the fact that the 15-minute spell between the 24th and 39th minute was really the difference in this game, and at time in this game, the game really opens up. Now, before I talk about what happened in this game, some note: Busio and Shari actually was starting in this game in place for Akinda and Shelton. Kyrie Shelton, of course, got injured and couldn't be starting in the starting 11 for Sporting KC. Well, Kinda was actually on the bench for Peter Remise in this game, which was kind of a little bit of a surprise because I thought Kinda throughout this tournament, he's been a regular starting 11, and it's clear that Remise has trust him to be in the starting 11. And all of a sudden, he decided to put Busio in here. And the other thing that I also want to mention in terms of SKC and notable Ahmed is Matt Beasler. And this, I believe they said in the broadcast, this is the second game in a row that he did not start in this game and was on the bench for this game, which is kind of interesting of why he is not starting for SKC in this. And you will see tonight, it was pretty clear that they missed Matt Beasler in this game, and that there was some defensive error by SKC that you probably could have argued if Matt Beasler was in this game, he probably could have prevented those defensive mistakes. Now, in the first half, for the first 15 minutes, I thought, as expected, this game was a little bit tight and there was not really a lot of chances for either of these sides to get the opening goal. Then the 16th minute, I think this is probably the only controversial moment of this game where Espinoza actually brought down Santos in the box, but there was no penalty that was called. In fact, they didn't even go to VAR to see whether or not if that is a penalty. And that when I first look at it, I thought it could have been a penalty, but a couple of times I look on the replay, I kind of feel like Santos kind of sold it a little bit, and he kind of gone down a little bit too easily. But what I'm kind of surprised is they didn't look at VAR in this, because that definitely looked like, on first eye, it's definitely a penalty against the Philadelphia Union. Now, just 8 minutes later, the Union gets the opening goal, and this is where I get to the 15-minute spell that really won the Union in this game. Montero scores from Bedoya and Santos to give the Union a 1-0 lead in the 24th minute. Then 4 minutes later, it's Santos to able to get the second goal for the Union. It was a great counterattack by the Philadelphia Union, but at the same time, you can also say it was a bad giveaway for SKC on the attacking set piece. This moment really reminds me of that game between the Quakes and Vancouver, where, if you guys remember, we used to have I think it was like early in this game, we had a corner where we decided to do a little trickery, and then it didn't quite work out in the end, and the opposition was able to pickpocket our last defender, and they were basically off to the races. This is very similar to that, where it was a bad giveaway that allowed Santos to go through on goal, and eventually he was able to put away, and it's 2-0 at that point. And it would have been 3-0 in favor of the Union, have Aronson put away a chance there in the 32nd minute, and that I thought SKC defense had absolutely no answer with the direct play that the Union has. Like, the Union was absolutely blitzing this SKC defense on the transitional play, and they just had no answer in terms of how to stop it. And the 39th minute, they would eventually get that third goal when Sergio Santos scored from a beautiful ball by Brendan Aronson. And at that point, it was 3-0 against the Union, and I, including many Sporting KC fans, probably asking, what the hell is going on with Sporting KC right now? And why in the world is this game look like a rout when I clearly thought that this was going to be a very tightly contested game? Now, eventually, SKC did get a goal back when Polito was able to score a header from Johnny Russell to give them a little bit life heading into the second half. And in the second half, I thought SKC started the better side, and they had a couple of decent chances to get one back. One of them was in the 49th minute when Polito unfortunately hits the post on a free kick. Then in the 57th minute, Blake, who has been just incredible in this tournament, denies Polito here. Russell did follow up to put that ball into the back of the net, but unfortunately it was disallowed for offside, and I don't think there's a lot of people can complain about that call, because not only the fact that Johnny Russell was offside, he was actually out of bounds. Like, when you're basically out of bounds and you're behind the end line, it's pretty obvious that when you touch the ball again, that most likely is not going to count, and you're going to be called for offside. So that goal was disallowed for SKC, and it was still 3-1. But I had a feeling Sporting KC was getting closer and closer to get back into this game, because they were putting a lot of pressure on the Union. And I thought maybe the Union in the second half, they were probably being a little bit conservative, and maybe Jim Curtin told his guy that, now we got this 2-goal advantage, let's just protect it, and let's see if we can seize this one out for the remaining of the second half. And that is exactly what the Union did, because as the game continued to go on, you can start to see that Sporting KC really started to lose that belief, the fact that they could get back into the game, and almost as if I think they kind of got frustrated, the fact that they weren't able to put away those chances that they had early in the second half. And ultimately, the Union was able to walk out with a 3-1 win, and as I said, they become the first team to reach the semi-final. And in terms of the shots in this game, 16 shots compared to 7 that the Union has, 7 shots on goal compared to 3 that the Union has, 4 shots off target compared to 2 that the Union has, 8 shots that was blocked compared to 2 that the Union has, and possession-wise, 58% possession compared to 42% possession. And despite the fact that SKC pretty much dominate the stat lines, the difference in this game is that the Union took their chances when they had that good spell between the 24th and the 39th minute, and SKC didn't take their chances and wasn't able to score a goal when they had the brighter spell in the start of the second half. And the Union, now that they're moving to the semifinal, they get to, of course, watch NYCFC play against Portland Timbers to see who exactly is the opponent that they're going to be facing out of those two in the semifinal of this tournament. But yeah, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and yeah, I, of course, will see you guys next time. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another review where I get to review a very much anticipated game between Orlando City versus LAFC.